What's up, everyone? It's the final round, and my name is Jordan. Welcome to part 2 of the first round playoff breakdown. So I'm not going to go through all the other stuff that I said in the beginning of part 1. All I'm going to ask is if you can like the video, subscribe to the channel, and if you have a little bit of extra time, can you leave a comment for the algorithm? Any comment helps. It can be a hello, a goodbye, an emoji, anything like that. But the first game I want to look into for Sunday's games and for the whole series is the Lakers and the Grizzlies. So we're going to start with the Grizzlies. Ja Morant. The Lakers are giving up the 4th most points to the point guard position, and it shows. Last time Ja Morant played the Lakers, this was after the trade deadline, so the brand new Lakers were assembled. Ja Morant got 39 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists. So I expect him to have a huge series here against the Lakers with not much pushback. Now, the Lakers have gotten tougher on defense. For the shooting guard position, they're giving up the 5th least points. So that's someone like Desmond Bane. Small forward position, they're giving the 7th least points. So that's Dylan Brooks. In the power forward position, they're giving up the 4th least points, which is going to be Xavier Tillman. So we look at Jaren Jackson Jr. They're giving up the 9th most points to the center position. And in 2 games after the trade deadline, Jaren Jackson Jr. averaged 21 points. He got 7.5 rebounds, and he also averaged 3 blocks against the Lakers. One guy to keep an eye on off the bench is going to be Luka Kennard. He's taken off over the past 10 games leading up to the playoffs. He averaged 15.5 points, 4 rebounds, and 2.5 assists. He's put himself in that rotation at that shooting guard position. So he'll be coming in against the second unit, playing against second unit guys. So I see a good opportunity here for Luka Kennard to hit some overs. And on the Lakers side of things, the first guy I want to look at is Anthony Davis. The Grizzlies are giving up the 2nd most rebounds to the center position. So Anthony Davis should feast on the boards. And for LeBron James, the Grizzlies are middle of the road for every single stat category. So I expect LeBron to do LeBron things. There's nothing here that's really going to hold him back. And someone to look at is going to be Austin Reeves. For the shooting guard position, they're giving up the 9th most points to shooting guards. And something I noticed in that playing game was the rotations of the point guard position and the power forward position. So to keep an eye on this, you could get some unders. It would be risky for game 1 because we don't know what it's going to look like, but it happened in the play-in game. D'Angelo Russell got 24 minutes and Schroeder got 33 minutes off the bench. And then Jared Vanderbilt got 22 minutes and Rui Hachimura got 27 minutes off the bench. So if this is something that continues, we can see some good underplays for all of these guys. Next game is going to be the Heat versus the Bucks. So this is one where nothing really popped off the page. For the Bucks, I saw Chris Middleton's got a good matchup. The Heat are giving up the most points to the small forward position. In a game on February 4th, Middleton played 20 minutes and he scored 24 points. So he's got a great matchup. They didn't have many meaningful games. There's a lot of players out, but in one of the meaningful games where Giannis played, he scored 35 points, had 15 rebounds, and 11 assists. So Giannis is also going to do Giannis things. I don't see anything stopping him or holding him back. And a guy off the bench to keep an eye on is going to be Bobby Portis. Definitely his rebounds. He's been rebounding very well off the bench. And on the Heat side of things, the Bucks give up the 3rd most points and the most assists to the center position. So I'm looking at Bam Adebayo. He in 4 games against the Bucks, he scored 24, 20, 16, and 18, and they're going to have his line at 19.5. So he's going to be really close every single time. So it's going to be a tough one. But also he's rebounded 12, 13, 11, and 7. So it might be a good look to pair points and rebounds for Bam in this matchup. And also for the Heat, Jimmy Butler, he had one really big game against them and then some not so great games. It's just really tough matchups all around for Heat players. But you know, Jimmy Butler is the matchup doesn't really mean much for him. He's going to do his thing, but there's no specific spot where he's going to, go off, because he may have Giannis guarding him at the power forward position, and that would be really tough. Next game is going to be Clippers versus the Suns. This should be an interesting one. For the Clippers, looking at Russell Westbrook, Paul George is out indefinitely, and they're not going to rush him back for the first round, which they might want to because this might not last very long. The Suns are giving up the second most points and the fifth most rebounds to the point guard position. And with Paul George being out, someone has to step up. So look for cheap lines for Eric Gordon, Terrence Mann, and Bones Highland. Keep an eye out for game one, see who takes over. Someone's going to have to take those shots and those minutes. But you might be able to sneak in a good line if they give you one. An obvious one's going to be Kawhi Leonard is going to play very well. Look at Zubac and Plumlee at the center position. The Suns give up the fifth least points to the center position, so it might be a good under with them going up against DeAndre Ayton and then off the bench, Bismack Biyombo. Who's a very good defender. And on the Suns side of things, DeAndre Ayton, the Clippers get up the seventh most rebounds to the center position. So rebounds are going to be a good look for DeAndre Ayton. And Chris Paul, the Clippers give up the fifth most points to the point guard position. And Chris Paul is going to have a ton of open looks. With Booker and Kevin Durant, Chris Paul has actually scored pretty well because there's so much attention on Durant and Booker and DeAndre Ayton down low, who can also score, that Chris Paul is going to get some open shots. If he knocks them down and his lines are low, you could have a good line there. And he's definitely going to get a lot of assists. We know Chris Paul can pass the ball very well. And for Kevin Durant, they're giving up the 10th most points to the power forward position where he will be playing. So he's going to score. He's going to get his points. But keep an eye on Devin Booker. I wouldn't say he's been passive, but I would keep an eye on where they put his line at. It might be a good under if they put it up really high, because he may take a back seat to someone like Kevin Durant and let him get most of the shots off, because Booker doesn't have too great of a matchup where Kevin Durant, Ayton, and Chris Paul all do have good matchups. And the Clippers give up the sixth least points to the small forward position, so that's Josh Okogie. He doesn't shoot the ball very much. If they have a line for him, I would look at the under for his points. There's a lot of games where he's getting like 2 points. He's taking 2 shots. I think I've seen sometimes maybe they have his line at like 6.5. That still might be a good spot for an under. And a guy off the bench, look for Torrey Craig. He gets maybe 9 to 10 shots off the bench, and he can score very well. And if they have a low line for him, he would be a good pick. And the final game, Timberwolves versus the Nuggets. For the Nuggets, Jamal Murray's got a great matchup. Timberwolves are giving up the 6th most points and the 8th most rebounds to the point guard position. So Jamal Murray should do very well. And Jokic versus Gobert, I looked up their history, their past 5 games. Jokic, he gets a lot of assists with playing with Gobert. So Gobert's defending well, and he's forcing Jokic to pass the ball, and he's finding the open man and getting assists. He's averaged 11.5 assists and 10 rebounds against Gobert, and he was scoring around 20, just a little over 20. I don't know where they're gonna have his points line at, but he was shooting 66.2% from the field. So it's not like Gobert is shutting him down. It's just he's forcing him to pass the ball, and he's not taking as many shots as he would normally. And with no Jaden McDaniels, life just got a lot easier for Michael Porter Jr. I know he's a streaky shooter. He can have games where he just scores 5 points. He can have games where he'll go off for 30. So if you pick Michael Porter Jr. points, you're playing with fire. He might be a guy you might want to fade. But keep an eye on him. If he gets hot, maybe game 1, you could take him for game 2, just knowing that he's got a really good matchup. And on the Timberwolves side of things, for Mike Conley, the Nuggets are giving up the 6th most assists to the point guard position, so that could be a good look. And for Anthony Edwards, this is a tough matchup for him. He's got Contavious Caldwell-Pope is going to be guarding him. He's a great defender. They're giving up the 5th least points and the 4th least rebounds to the shooting guard position. And he's struggled over the past couple of games. And with Jaden McDaniels out, someone has had to step up, and that was Nickeil Alexander-Walker. I know he didn't go off last game, but the Nuggets are giving up the 4th most points, the 4th most rebounds, and the 2nd most assists to the small forward position. So there's a lot to go around at that spot. That would have been McDaniels. But in the play-in game, Alexander-Walker had 12 points, 4 rebounds, and 6 assists. So I really like a potential PRA spot for him. And you could also look at Kyle Anderson filling in that spot. He had 11 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists. It would depend on where they have his assist line at. It was really juiced last game because of the game before. He had like 12 or 13 assists. And the last guy, Karl Anthony Towns, has been the best player for the Timberwolves. Over the last 5 games, he's scoring 25 points. He's getting 10.5 rebounds and 4.5 assists. He doesn't have a terrible matchup with Aaron Gordon on him. I would expect him to keep playing well. Just keep an eye on where those lines at. If they start juicing his lines and lowering Anthony Edwards, then you have to start thinking about things. But as long as they keep Anthony Edwards lines up high and Karl Anthony Towns pretty low, I would stick with Cat. So that's a breakdown of the other 4 matchups for the playoffs. This takes a lot of work. Just these 2 take a lot of work, and I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope it does well for you. So once again, if you can, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. God bless you all. It's the final round, and my name is Jordan. Bye.